Have you ever wondered, what makes a man want to erase an entire people from the earth? 6 million lives, gone, but why? Why did Hitler hate the Jews? What fed this hatred? And how did it turn into one of the deadliest genocides in history? Let's go back to the beginning. Adolf Hitler, born in Austria 1889, not a monster, not yet, just a poor boy, with big dreams of becoming an artist. But Vienna, where he tried to study art, was already a city soaked in antisemitism. Newspapers, politicians, even academics, many blamed Jews for everything going wrong in society. And Hitler? He listened, he watched, he absorbed that hate, quietly. But then came the war, World War I. Hitler joined the German army, he fought, he was wounded, and when Germany lost, something in him broke. He didn't just see a military defeat, he saw betrayal. A myth began to spread. That Germany didn't lose the war on the battlefield, but because of traitors at home, communists, liberals, and the Jews. This was called the stab-in-the-back myth. It wasn't true, but Hitler believed it, and he clung to it. But that was just the beginning. Hitler didn't just hate the Jews because of a lost war, he believed in something much darker. A twisted theory, racial hierarchy. To him, the world was divided. The Aryan race, blonde, blue-eyed, strong, was superior. And Jews? He saw them as parasites, destroyers of culture, enemies of purity. In his eyes, Jews were behind everything he feared. Capitalism, communism, modern art, social change. In other words, he blamed the Jews for everything. In 1923, Hitler tried to overthrow the government. He failed. He was arrested. And while in prison, he wrote a book, Mein Kampf, My Struggle. And in that book, he wrote that the Jews must be removed. Not just politically, not just socially, permanently. He was serious, deadly serious. When he got out of prison, the world changed. Germany was broken, poor, defeated, and desperate for a savior. Hitler gave them someone to blame, and people listened. By 1933, he became Chancellor of Germany, and then, the nightmare began. Laws were passed, Jewish teachers fired, Jewish doctors banned, Jewish businesses boycotted. Step by step, Jews were erased from public life. And the propaganda machine, it exploded. Posters, films, speeches, all spreading one message: Jews are dangerous. Then came the Nuremberg laws. Jews were no longer citizens. They couldn't marry non-Jews. They couldn't vote. They were outsiders, alien, unwanted. Still, many Jews stayed, hoping that things would get better. They didn't. In 1938, it turned violent. Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass, synagogues burned, Jewish homes and shops smashed, thousands arrested. It wasn't just discrimination anymore. It was terror. And then, World War II, Germany invaded Poland, and with it came millions of Jews under Nazi control. But this time, they weren't put in cities. They were herded into ghettos, walled in, starved, trapped. And behind closed doors, the Nazis were planning something far more terrifying. They called it the final solution. It meant one thing: extermination, not deportation, not relocation, but murder, systematic, cold, efficient. Camps were built, not for prisoners, for genocide: Auschwitz, Treblinka, Sobibor, death factories. Jews were packed into trains, told they were going to work, but the trains led to gas chambers. Children, mothers, elders, no one was spared. In the end, over 6 million Jews were killed, not in battle, not by accident, but by design. So again, we ask, why did Hitler hate the Jews? Was it ideology, madness, revenge, all of the above? Historians believe it was a combination. He grew up around antisemitism, he experienced war trauma, he embraced twisted ideas of race and nationalism, and he used the Jews as a scapegoat to gain power. But here's the truth that's even harder to swallow. Hitler didn't do it alone. He had help. From soldiers, from politicians, from ordinary people. Some believed the lies, some stayed silent, some just followed orders. And that is how genocide happens. Not just by monsters, but by people who look the other way. Today there are still those who deny the Holocaust, even with all the evidence. The photos, the survivors, the graves. Some say it's fake, a hoax, exaggerated. That's why this story matters. Because forgetting means repeating. The Holocaust is not just Jewish history, it's human history. It teaches us what hate can do, what silence can cost, and how fragile civilization really is. So when we ask, why did Hitler hate the Jews? We're really asking, how do we make sure no one like Hitler ever rises again? How do we protect truth in a world full of lies? And how do we stand up when it's easier to stay quiet? Because history doesn't repeat itself, people repeat it, and the only thing stronger than hate is memory. Thank you for listening. And if this story moved you, don't let it end here. Share it, talk about it, remember it, so that never again means never again.